Hello. In this session, we will look at the first Terraform provisioner, which is your local exec. So we'll look at as to what your local exec is, and also we'll look at an example as to how we can make use of the local exec to execute something on the local machine itself, meaning where our Terraform is installed. So the local exec provisioner, so like I said, it can be used to execute some commands or to invoke a local executable after a resource has been created. So maybe let's say you're launching an EC2 instance. Now when you're launching that EC2 instance, you want to execute something on the local machine. All right, that is where we can make use of the local exec. So this invokes a process on the machine running the Terraform. So like I said, uh, local exec will be used to run something on the local machine itself. So when I say local machine, wherever you have installed your Terraform, we call that as your local machine, and your local exec will not execute anything on the remote machine like your EC2 instances that you're launching. It will not execute anything on those resources. It will execute only on the local machine itself. All right, so to declare your local exec, we will be declaring this inside the resource block. So here I'm declaring the resource block, and then here is my provisioner block inside the resource block. So here is the provisioner type. So here if you see, I'm telling I want to create a local exec provisioner, and below is the command that will be executed. Now in this case, what will happen is I'm executing this command which will echo the private IP of this resource, and it will add it in this file. Now this file will get created on the local machine itself, and in that file the private IP of this instance will be stored. So this is where we can make use of your local exec. That is, if you want to do something on the local machine itself, you want to take some action on the local machine itself, then we can make use of your local exec for that. So let's see an example for this. So here let's start creating our files. So first I'll create my provider block. So let's say my provider will be AWS, and then the region, let's pick it from a variable. So let's say EC2 underscore region, sorry, EC2 underscore region. Let's define our resource block. So resource dot tf. So here we will be creating our instance, AWS instance, and then let's say this is local exec example, and then my instance type. For the instance, we will pick it from the variable. So instance type, the AMI also we will pick it from the variables, var dot ec2 image. We'll also add tags. Now the tags we will pick it from our locals block, so common tags, and we will define our provisioner. Okay, so here we will say provisioner block. Now the type of provisioner we are going to use is local exec, and then the instruction. So I want to execute a command. Now what command you want to execute? So let's say I want to execute this echo. Now what do you want to echo? So I want to execute this self dot private underscore IP, and I want to write this to a file. So let's say private underscore IPs dot text to this file. Okay, so this becomes my provisioner block. So here I'm using this self object because we are declaring this provisioner block within the resource block itself. Then we can make use of this self object. So this is same as saying AWS underscore instance dot local exec example dot private underscore IP. Now one provisioner block supports only one command. So let's say you also want to capture the public IP. So we can declare one more provisioner block for this. So let's say we'll declare one more local exec, and now let's say we'll execute one more command, but this time we will capture the public IP, and let's say we will write this to public IPs dot txt file. So what will happen is, if the file is available, it will use it. If the file is not available, the file will get created, and then write this public IP and the private IP. I have a typo over here, and done. So this becomes my resource block. Let's define our variables block. So variables dot tf, and within this file, so we'll define our variables. So first we'll say EC2 region, and let's give it a description. Let's say specify the region for the resources, and then my data type, we will be using string for this. Okay, so that's one variable. Then variable EC2 instance type, again we will use the description for this, and let's say specify the instance type for EC2, and then the data type for this again would be string. Then we'll define another variable which will be EC2 underscore image, and we will add the description to this. So let's say specify the AMI for the EC2, and then again my data type for this would be string, and I think that's it. So let's quickly check. So in my resource blocks, I'm using EC2 instance type, image, and in my provider I have the region. So that's fine. So I've declared all my variables. Now we'll create our locals.tf file. So let's create a locals.tf file, and let's declare our locals block, and within this we'll declare our common tags, and we can declare our tags over here. So let's say name, we'll call this as local exec example. Let's give this in quotes, and let's say project would be local exec project. Okay, so this becomes my locals block. Now the last thing we have is our Terraform variables, the values for the variables. So let's create this terraform.tf vars file, and let's say EC2 region is one of the variable. We will give the value. Then I have EC2 instance type. This will be t2.micro, and then EC2 image. So the AMI value, I will take it from my console. So here I have the instance, and I'll just take this AMI and we will provide it over here. So this becomes my variable values. All right, so my configuration files are ready. So let's initialize this. So Terraform init will initialize the code for us. Let's wait for the initialization. Okay, now let's generate a plan for this. Is it to image? Okay, let me quickly check. Okay, that's an uppercase, so it should be I. Okay, so let's run this plan once again. And here is the plan. So you can see one resource to add. Now this is not showing me anything about the local exec. So this will show me the local exec once I create the resources. So let's apply this, and I will auto approve this. And this will start creating the resources. So while creating the resources, once the resources are created, it will also execute the local exec block for us. So we have declared two local exec, one to get the private IP and the other to get the public IP. So we are creating two files, private underscore ips.txt, where the private IP should be stored, and then we are creating the public underscore ips.txt, where the public IPs should be stored. So here you can see executing. So this is basically the local exec, and this is executed on the local machine itself where your Terraform is installed. So here you can see there is the file that is created, and here is the public IPs. And if you look at the file, you will see that, okay, I may have made some. Okay, so the mistake I did here was earlier I had just given self.private underscore IP, which is been treated as a string, right? It is not getting the value for me. So now we are using this dollar and inside the curly braces. Now Terraform will understand that this is a variable and we need to get the value from the resource block. So let's try this once again. I will apply this once again. So before I apply this, let me delete these files so that we don't have anything. So I don't have the private IPs and the public IPs. So let's execute this once again. Just waiting for this to complete. And done. So again, I should be able to see two files, private IPs and the public IPs. And now inside the file, we should be able to see the private IP of the instance and the public IP of the instance. So like this, if you want to take any actions or if you want to do something on the local machine itself, then we can make use of your local exec for that. So you can use this to run any commands you want, any script you want, you can execute it by using this local exec. That's all for this session. Once again, before you leave, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and if you like the video, leave a like and please share the video.